Hi there, I'm Ahsan Ali A. Shaw, and you're watching me on YouTube and Facebook Live. Today, we are going to talk about communication, the role of communication, and the significance of communication and nonverbal communication. Our human civilization and technological development has reached to this level is because of communication. When we say communication, the word communication has means sharing your ideas with other people. And communication has two major types. First is intercommunication, and second is intra-communication. Intercommunication is talking with other people, and intra-communication is talking within yourself. Talking to yourself means your thoughts, your ideas. When you uh, in a position when you in a decisive mode, when you are thinking to yourself, thinking about yourself, and you are figuring out, you're making plans. It's like a soliloquy. And and second is intercommunication, communication with other people. When we communicate with other people, then it has further two types. We use words, just like I'm doing it right now, or written words or spoken words, and second is we use body gestures. And we are going to talk about all of them, communication, all the different types, and in detail that how communication impacts our lives. If you're watching me, thanks, Stephanie, for joining us, and keep sharing it, guys, in the group and tag other people with it. We are going to have a table discussion, and my first guest is Gary Murk. Gary Murk. He is a phytoaromacologist. He has joined us from, uh,
Edmonton,
Al- uh,
Alberta.
yeah, Alberta, Canada. Yes. And my second guest is Jackie McGrath. He has joined us from Victoria,
Gold,
Australia.
Gold
Yes,
Coast.
and Gold Coast, Victoria.
Yep. No,
Yes, and
Queensland.
my
We're
yes,
close.
and my third guest is Mona Azadi. She is an elite community, quantum elite community. She is with the elite quantum community, and she has joined us from Montreal, Canada.
Very happy to be here
Hi.
with you all.
Okay.
Thank you.
How are you? How are you doing, guys?
Let the ladies speak first. Let's see. Let's let ladies speak up. How are you ladies doing?
Yes.
Honestly, I'm doing awesome. It was a beautiful day today in Montreal. It was sunny, and the sun, the rays of Father Sun are so important right now. So you really feel the difference, when the spring is entering. It's really good for the spirits, but I'm feeling good. I'm having daily meditations. I'm working a lot on keeping my internal positive thinking positive, so I can reflect it on the outside. So I'm working on it daily, you
Mhm.
know, because
So
nothing
how
is
are
for
you?
granted.
Mhm.
Sorry.
So how are you doing, Jackie?
I'm doing very well, thank you. We've got lots of rain here at the moment, which
Mm-hmm.
has we haven't had much at all, but the past 2 days have had
Mm-hmm.
lots and lots of rain, and
Mm-hmm.
which has sent half my electricity out at the moment. So
Mm-hmm.
there's parts of the house that are in darkness, and
Mm-hmm.
PowerPoint's not working, and all kinds of things like that. So my internet's not actually even working. So I'm on data at the moment. So I'm hoping that'll be okay. But other than
Mm-hmm.
that, lucky, I love the rain. So for me, it's just a big cleansing of everything, and I love it. I'll probably go out there and
Mm-hmm.
just put myself out there in the rain later. I love it.
You're gonna
So
dance in the rain, are you?
I love dancing in the rain. My grandkids used to think I was a
Yes.
bit silly. Nana's out there with
Mhm.
no clothes on in the rain, in her underwear.
I used to swim in the rainfalls in the gutters. Okay, so in the gutters, and the water would be running down the wall, and all the stuff is, you know, the leaves, the trees. We'd be
Yeah.
swimming in
Mhm.
this. You know, my mother
Right.
would. You know, nowadays you're afraid to go swimming in a swimming pool. You know, it's like,
Yeah.
you know, it's like so.
Yeah.
I'm
All those
good.
Yes.
fun things.
So
Splashing in the
yes.
puddles, all
Okay.
those beautiful things. Yeah.
Wow,
Yes,
wow.
indeed. And I think we should go back to the topic. Gary, I was reading a very interesting statistic yesterday. It was about that only 65% of the time, only 65% of the time we use non-verbal communication. We use our body language, we use gestures, we use smile, facial expressions, and only 35% of the time we use our language. We use verbal communication. We use words and written words and spoken words, but most of the time we use our non-verbal cues.
Mm,
Very
mm.
true.
So it shows. Mhm. It shows the very significance of non-verbal communication in our lives.
Very much so.
Especially, it doesn't matter whether it's personal relationships or business relationships. We use non-verbal cues more. So what are your experiences with non-verbal
My
communication?
experiences.
Mm.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yes.
If I go into the aspect of body language through all of
Mm-hmm.
my professional careers, and I've done a
Mm-hmm.
multitude of things, believe me.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Body language played a very big portion in all of it. In fact, you know, if I
Mm-hmm.
go into the IT industry, it was how I would, you know, be greeted by a CEO of a bank institute, you know, their peacock body image, like, look at me, I'm making $1 million a year, and looking down on the underlings that are, you know, there to fix their problems. You know, it's like, you know,
Mm-hmm.
I should be making $1 million a year to fix his problems so that I can look down on him. You know, so body language has played a great deal of interactivity with me over the years, because being frontline
Mm-hmm.
in customer service, always I've been in, you know, frontline customer service, whether it was, you
Mm-hmm.
know, even modeling. I was sort of like right out there in the limelight. So body language meant everything. You know, if I look like a
Mm-hmm.
slob, they're not going to buy the clothes, right? So body
Mm-hmm.
language sells. It sells your image, it sells your
Mm-hmm.
language, but
Mm-hmm.
it also reflects a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
So, where are we with the truth of our body language? One of the
Mm-hmm.
things that for me was always important was my integrity. So, my
Mm-hmm.
integrity is everything. It doesn't matter what I wear as long as I'm proper, as long as I'm
Mm-hmm.
clean, and as long as I don't
Mm-hmm.
look like I'm going to endanger somebody. You know,
Mm-hmm.
there's some common sense to this. If I look at where it is right now with body language, okay, a majority of people are walking in panic, stiff. You know, they don't want to interact. They're pulling away from
Mm-hmm.
interaction. You got the ones that want to interact, but we're afraid to interact with them. And then you got the ones that are really above this. I mean, anybody who's been working with this evolution of awakening, your evolution of
Mm-hmm.
spiritual awareness, your evolution of spiritual love, we're walking above this. So, you know, like my arms are wide open. You want a hug? I'll give you a hug. You know, it's very open this way, but there's still people that the mask is on, the fear is there, the anxiety is there, and you know they're on the edge of a razor blade because they
Mm-hmm.
want the hug, but they're in
Mm-hmm.
anxiety and
So,
fear. So
Gary, you
there's it's
mentioned integrity. You mentioned
yes,
integrity. What
yes.
is the role of integrity in communication?
Your honesty, your truthfulness.
Mm-hmm.
What I'm going to
Mm-hmm.
say in integrity is to say my truth. Why am I going to create a story to come
Mm-hmm.
back and try and fix it afterwards? I don't want the
Mm-hmm.
drama. So, first
Mm-hmm.
off, it's honesty in my communication. Second off,
Mm-hmm.
it's being truthful. Where am I with
Mm-hmm.
my communication? What is my goal? What is my intent? What is my
Mm-hmm.
interaction? You know, whether it's
Mm-hmm.
with a couple or whether it's in
Mm-hmm.
business, And the majority of times in a couples, it's the communication is breaking down. We're failing to understand the need of the other. So our integrity sometimes comes into check, because now we become lost in where our emotions are. We're lost with our verbos. So now we're in fear. So we may skate around the truth because we're afraid our partner is not going to accept what my truth of my emotion is. Okay, especially coming from men. Men, you know, like you as men, and many men are out there, we don't embrace emotions. We run away from emotion. Okay, so in a business world, it's easy. We turn emotion off, and I'm the control guy. I'm the one that I own the company. I'm the one that's going to make you the slave. It's about my company. This sort of a CEO type aspect that goes on a lot of superiority complexes. But when it comes down to it, the body language is also part of that integrity. I can sense somebody who's going to come at me with anger. You're across the street. I can sense it. Okay. In fact, I can sense you coming behind me because I can feel your vibration. I can feel your energy. It's enough to say that as you get close to me, it's staticky enough that I can feel that presence. So body language expands even further. Okay. When we come into the aspect of energy, but integrity, I think for me in my life, if I don't have integrity, I got nothing to say. Simple as that.
So
I'm not.
I think communication. I think communication would be incomplete without honesty and integrity.
Mm-hmm.
Communication would be okay. Communication would be incomplete without integrity and communication. Without integrity and honesty.
Of course. I mean,
Yes.
I'll give you an example, and then we'll give the ladies some room here to talk. You know, because
Yes.
it's important to hear their perspective.
I
I
have got two very important questions for Jackie and Mona. I'm gonna
Okay.
get back to let you finish.
Okay, so I'll give you an example. If I'll go back to a project that I was working on years back in the IT industry. And in this project, there is 10 engineers, there's the company owners, and everybody's at the table. And we have a goal is to take down 3,000 users over the weekend and get them to work at 6 o'clock Monday morning or 6 a.m. Monday morning. This is the stock market I'm talking about. Okay. So it was crucial that my team of engineers, that my team of workers that I was responsible for had absolute integrity. There's no question there. And the one thing that I said to everybody, that, you know, there's 30 people, let's say, sitting on this trade floor waiting for the interaction to start. And I said one thing. The integrity that we have in this operation is to turn around and work together with the common goal of one goal, that everybody is happy and that the company is running at 6 a.m. Because if it's not running at 6 a.m., there's $1 million fine that comes down for every minute that we are over, because the stock market opens. Okay?
Yes.
And integrity played an important part. It took 5 minutes, and within 5 minutes, the integrity was gone because everybody was fighting for themselves. Yes.
Yes, indeed. And integrity is very important in the professional life. Without integrity and honesty, your clients and your customers aren't gonna trust you. And once your trust is gone from the business, then your business is gone. And now I'm gonna move to Jackie. I've got a question from her. What do you think the role of body language and gestures in a relationship, in a personal life, in a communication, the communication, the nonverbal communication, and the role of nonverbal communication in our personal lives and in the relationships?
Look, it's a huge part, isn't it, from what you were just saying with the statistics of it. And you've got to think back before language times too. Like, that's how you communicated. You knew how someone was feeling or what they wanted or whatever, and you communicated that way through your body language or signs or whatever, I guess. And it's probably the most important thing, because that's what you see first before you even start speaking to someone. Like Gary was saying, that energy, you know, that's something that's so important, and that's why it's really important for us at this point in time, and this, you know, with everything going on, is to really connect with ourselves, and that communication with ourselves is important so that we can portray that beautiful energy and kindness and come from that kind of space. Body language is just everything, and that's what concerns me really with social media and things like that is like it's not even in a question. Body language, you can't see, you know, you can't sense the emotion, you can't hear the tone or the intent of what they're saying, you can't, the body language too, the way they're sitting, the way you can tell when someone's, you know, when someone's lost interest in your conversation, you can sense that straight away. But with all this social media, you have no idea, and it just inflames things so quickly because people are instant in their communication as well, and just jumping. And I feel like when you can't feel that energy of that person in a face-to-face communication, or you can't see them like we can see now, is yes, that things start falling apart a little bit, I think. And like Gary was saying with the integrity, I just want to touch on that because I had a little bit of a giggle, and I thought, how do we think of lawyers? How do we think of car salesmen? It's exactly that. They lose our respect because there's not that integrity there, you know, that honesty.
Lost right off the start, haven't even met them.
Yeah, that's it. They just have to say. Somebody the other day said to me, "Oh yeah, I used to be a car salesman." I went, "Oh," and he goes, "Yeah, I know." It's because that's immediately what you think is that. Oh, yeah, you know, what little Wednesday you're going to weave here with me?
Even with doctors, do we have integrity with doctors right now? No.
Oh yeah, no.
I got no faith in the medical system. I got no faith in a doctor. I got no faith in anybody coming at me with a needle, for one, okay? And especially if you got a mask on right now. It's bad enough on the outside world. And then we go into the, not happening.
Yeah, and same, Gary, you know, we don't even know the truths that are coming out, and still they're only part truths. We don't know. We don't even know history anymore. We don't know any of that stuff in it. We don't know what's true or not, and we're kind of losing a bit of a sense of ourselves in some ways because you know, history is just, we're not sure what we're being shown and told has any value or any merit at all anymore.
As an alchemist, and I'll just add into this, and then Moon, I'd love to hear some of your thoughts on this as well. As an alchemist, that I practice the old art of the alchemy of healing, which involves aromatherapy, it involves plants, it involves energy, it involves verbos, it involves body language, it involves everything that life surrounds. So in the world where we're searching for healing, we're searching for integrity, we're searching for honesty, there isn't any. Okay, the system's broken, the corporations are broken, the medical system is broken, and we got a bunch of doctors trying to sell us a pill because they're getting paid by the pharmaceutical group to turn around and have a nice fancy vacation, a nice fancy car, you know, all of this hoopla that they think they're gods because they're in a white coat. Well, guess what? They're not gods. And as Canadian taxpayers, our tax dollar pays their salary. So actually the employer is we the people, okay? And none of us are standing up to a doctor. Try standing up to a doctor and say, guess what? I'm your employer. It's my taxpayer dollar that's paying your salary. You get thrown out of the hospital. Believe me, I tried it. I've been thrown out of the hospital. Okay, so...
Oh, Gary, sorry to interrupt. Can I just put this point?
Yeah.
I had to go into hospital November last year because I fell over and I thought I'd broken my elbow. So that's the only reason I went in, and I thought, I just want to make sure it's not broken, you know. They did all these tests on me, and then they wanted to keep me in, right? And because I knew I was unwell at the time, but anyway, they wanted to keep me in, and they were insisting, and I said, no, I'm not going to stay in. Anyway, they did all these like mental little tests on me, so that because their aim was to keep me in against my will, saying that I wasn't in my right mind. I couldn't make my own decisions. And that scared the hell out of me. And I had to really play the game as such, because I knew that they had this piece of paper and they were willing to say that she cannot make her own decisions. And I said to them, I used to be a nurse too. Do you know how unethical this is? Because you know I'm well in my right mind and can make my own decisions for myself. And they just didn't want a bar of it.
That's absolutely
it was
disgusting.
Frightening. It was frightening.
It's absolutely disgusting. Okay, and I've seen this many, many times personally. Being in after, look, many people know me. I'm very open. I'm very straightforward. I'm very honest. And after a suicide attempt, finding myself inside the system, and they're trying to force medications into me. Even my sister said at that time, "You will not get medication into me." And believe me, they didn't get any medication to me. They were close to wrapping me up in a little straitjacket, trying to get it forced into me. And there was no way, because it wasn't the medication. Okay, or trying to get into this was, listen to me. I have something to say. My heart's broken. My emotions are broken. I'm angry with the world. I just need somebody to listen to me. Okay, but they don't listen. We go into doctors' hospitals or doctors' rooms right now. Some of the waiting rooms, there's a sign up there that says you're allowed 2 questions. Really?
Gary,
Really? 2 questions? I'm coming in because I don't know what's going on with me. I'm having a pain. I'm having a suffering. I'm having something going on. As the old world alchemist, the old world doctors, what we did was 3 things. 1, what's your environment? 2, what are you putting into your body? 3, what are you putting into your mind? We focused on the trinity of the body, mind, and spirit. Today, it's not that. It's line you up, get you a pill, put you into the system, get you addicted to the medications, take your mind away so we can control you through your body. Okay.
Gary, I've got a very important question to you, but I'm gonna ask you later. First, I'm gonna move to Moon because we haven't given her the chance to speak up. Yes, Moon, you are a personal transformation coach and with the elite community. I've got a very interesting question to you.
Yes.
That the role of vibrations. Do we communicate through vibes and vibrations?
I'm sorry. Can you say that again, Ahsan?
Okay. The role of vibrations, the vibes, and in our communication.
The wife?
The role of
The role of
vibration.
wife.
Vibration.
Vibes and vibes. Yes, vibrations in our communication.
The wife and you're talking about a couple, married couple, a wife and husband?
Non, Moon. Dans une conversation entre 2 personnes, les vibrations de l'énergie or les vibrations entre les deux, the vibration between 2.
Between men and women? I didn't understand your question because the I don't know, the sound is not very clear for me. But what I want to say, Ahsan, thank you so much for giving me the space tonight to be with you all, and I'm really happy to be here, is that communication, when we talk about communication is really, really wide. Now, the basic, of course, communication is essential since the beginning of times, because we had to communicate between each other, and of course our movements, our body language is more important than our words, because in the beginning of times there wasn't any language, so people talked about with their body language more than they talked about with words. Then with evolution, language got developed in many different ways. And even with today, sorry?
What do you think about the role of vibration, your vibes, your spirit in the communication? I think
The
vibration.
Okay, the moon.
Yes.
The role of vibration in a
In
communication.
communication, of course, everything is frequency. So, you know,
Yes.
even without speaking, we radiate a frequency. But what I wanted to say is that because I didn't finish my thought, is that communication can be used in a good way and in a bad way. Today, like if you talk about the matrix, the system, they're using communication in a bad way to give lies, to present lies, to manipulate people's minds, and to program us, to put us in fear, to put us, you know. So communication, when you talk about communication, outside communication, it can be positive and it can be negative. So we have to use our discernment at all times. And like for us who are awake today, in our community, you're part of our community, even if you're not in Quantum Elite, we're all following the same movement. We're trying to embrace our higher self, and we're trying to shift from 3D reality to 5D New Earth consciousness, which is a state of mind. And it's very important that we keep our vibrations high, that we stay positive, because when we get to the 5D frequency, nothing bad can happen to us. The bad entities cannot reach us there. So that's why we see lots of movements today developing, self-development, coaching, spirit, because the world needs it. You know, a lot of people are either stuck in cognitive dissonance, you know, because the reality is so hard to digest between us, you know, without going into details where we know the reality. When you go down the rabbit hole, it's not many people can digest their reality. Like I look at myself now. I am originally from Tunisia, which means I come from an Arabic culture, but very modern at the same time. I've lived all my lifetime since my childhood overseas, so I'm kind of a citizen of the world. I've always felt like a citizen of the world. I've lived in France, I lived in Dubai, I've lived in the States. Now I've been 16 years in Montreal. It's my second country, it's my second heart after Tunisia. But I've always felt like a citizen of the world. And when the lockdown and the crisis started of what happened, of what we're living now, I don't even want to say the name. I don't want to give it importance. All this bullshit going on.
That's what it is. It's a mind.
Exactly. So the universe anyway wanted us to be quiet and to go into ourselves during this period, because the only way we can save our soul is to go inside our heart, to cultivate our heart, to embrace our true self, and to honor our ancestors, to honor our creator. Because this is the big test. If you lose the touch with your creator, you do not pass the test. And the problem is that it's really, really deep, because the system is, we all know it's led by dark entities, and the dark entities, like Saturn, he's not going to appear as Saturn, he's going to appear as something nice. So they're always trying to bring us to their to our ways through, you know, that's what they're doing with what they want. I'm not going to say the name of it, you know. So we have to use our discernment at all times, everyone. And we have to stay in love mode. We have to come all together, whatever origin we are. This is the time to be, you know, to shine our light and to step into our best version, and to listen to our divine self and to our creator to guide us, our intuition. This is the time to develop it, you know, and this is why I am with Quantum Elite, because it's a great community which offers free classes for self-development. And this is what we need. We need to shift to 5D to become the best version and to save our soul and save whoever we can save on our path, of course, you know.
Mona, you
Like, for
said about,
example, I'm
Mona,
going to say one more. Yeah, go ahead.
okay,
Sorry.
okay, no problem. Finish your thought, and I'm gonna go to Gary.
Just one last sentence. You know, sometimes I think between me and myself, Ahsan, I say, how come I'm in Montreal? Why I'm not in another place? And I think, you know, I know that everything works in divine timing, and there's a divine purpose why I am in Canada and not somewhere else, like why you are in Pakistan. Gary and some, we're all given specific locations for a divine purpose. And this is the biggest test of our lifetime we're going through. So we have to be really awake, guys, and we have to be really, really, really strong and positive. That's the only way we can get out of this mess, honestly. Thank you so much.
Indeed. Yes, indeed, we have to stay positive, and you have given us a very strong message. I'm gonna before going to Jackie, before going to Gary, I'm gonna move to Jackie to ask a short question. That Mona has said a very interesting thing, that good and bad communication, the role of good and bad communication, and it also reminds me your experience that you mentioned it earlier, that about your experience in the hospital.
Well, yeah, good and bad communication. Like it's so important, isn't it, to have good communication? Good bad communication just leads to more bad communication, doesn't it? You can't start from a bad place, really, you know. And also, I recognized in the hospital that I couldn't be coming from a bad place myself, because that was not going to work with them. That would just give them more fuel, right, to do what they wanted to do. So I really had to just I kept looking at this nurse in the eyes, and I kept just really trying to connect with her to say, you know, and she did in the end say, look, it is, I wouldn't be doing something like that. She said, because it's very unethical, but they're trying to get me to keep you in. And so in the end, anyway, we came to a compromise. I did leave, but I did have to compromise to get myself out of there. And it's just like people don't listen. Like, what is it with they want to take away your choices now? You know, so that we feel helpless. And so you've got to really be strong in your communication to just not put these people in their place, but just to let them know that they do not have power over you. You know, so
yes, indeed.
they can't take away your power. But you do need good communication is everything, isn't it? Like, I just know with my children, like, you know, I've had to adjust all through the years with the way that I communicate with my children, because and it's a whole learning experience. You don't stop learning how to communicate. And to communicate too, to recognise different people's personalities and how you need to communicate for the best way for that communication to be positive, rather than go down, you know, it's very easy, like, to slip into that just not give a shit mode, and I'll talk to them how I like. It's like, come on, like, if you really want something positive out of it, you need to step back a minute and have some thought. And I guess that's was the beauty of when we used to be able to write long letters, you know, and you'd have email. You'd really put a lot of thought into what you had to say, you know.
The power of the pen.
Yes.
Yes.
Now I'm gonna move to Gary, and Gary, I've got a very interesting question to you.
Can I say
okay, please.
Can I say one thing to Jackie?
Yes,
please.
Jackie, the biggest communication, very simple. We do not consent. We do not consent.
Yes, indeed.
That's it. Go ahead. That's it.
Yes.
One phrase.
Okay.
No.
Yes, Gary.
We do not
I've got a
consent.
very
Thank you.
The question is that we have been talking about communication, about listening to other people.
Yep.
I think the most interesting, it is also the part of communication, is communicating within yourself,
Oh, yeah.
talking to yourself, your thoughts, knowing your thoughts, your emotions. How are you feeling? I think the lack we find with the world, the lab or the gap we find with the world is because we don't communicate with ourselves. We don't know ourselves.
True.
I think if we know ourselves better, then we communicate with the world better.
True.
So
True.
important.
Very, very important. I use in a lot of my lives and even one-on-one counselings and things like that. I say the very first thing to do is, who do you see in the mirror? What do you see within your reflection? Okay, how are you speaking to yourself? How do you see yourself? How do you accept yourself? How do you, with your imperfections? And my experiences and date with, with relationships and with even, learning with myself was that the problem much of the time is that we don't know ourselves. We know something's going on. We know the emotion is here, like, it's coming up here. It's going to choke me. It's almost going to come out my ears and out my rear end. Like it wants to come out in all different directions. But I don't have the right verbos. I don't have the right word, because nobody has ever been taught the proper poise or poesy of communication. We've learned it in many different snippets. I mean, I love Shakespeare. I love Plato. I love Thoreau. I've read many different books on philosophy and the verbos and the romance of the word. But how do I apply that back to self? How do I apply that when I see myself in the mirror, when I wake up in the morning? Where, the very first thing is, how am I greeting myself to begin my day and walk out upon the world? I greet myself. I accept myself. I talk to myself. I laugh at myself. I make errors. I hit myself on the thumb, and I know I call myself an idiot. I'm not an idiot, but you know what? I can say that to myself. But if you say it to me, it's going to depend on how you deliver that. If you deliver it in a constructive criticism towards me, I'm open. You just deliver it in an attack, I'm in receptive mode. That means I'm in an actionary, reactionary response based upon pure emotion, because the verbos that's been said to me is now attacking rather than being constructive. Okay, we haven't been taught how to speak. We taught how to play actors. We're taught how to sing. We're taught how to write mathematics and a little bit of cursive. Well, it used to be. We don't do that anymore. We don't even give students a pen to write with. They have a text. So right there is a loss of communication, a loss of connection. The power of this pen, this movement, allows me to feel my emotions, express my emotions, and understand self, all in the power of writing. I know when I'm angry. I know when I'm feeling well with myself. My script is all flowing, and I still use a pen. So the biggest issue that I've faced with anybody I've met is, who are you? What can you tell me about you? Don't tell me about what you own. Don't tell me about what your job is. Don't tell me about I climbed the mountain. Who are you as a human? That's my little spiel.
Yes. And now I'm going to move to Mona. I'm going to ask you a question. It's a very interesting question. The question is that self-communication is important, and is important for us to communicate with the world. How self-communication is important for us to communicate with the world.
Well, you have to be able to communicate with the world. You have to be in harmony with yourself first, because
Yes.
to talk to the world, you have to have confidence. You have to be. It depends, because the connection, the purpose is not always the same. Some people are communicating, but communicating lies, and some people are like putting masks. There are lots of people putting masks out there, you know. But you always recognize the people who are authentic and true, because truth has a very special vibration. You recognize when people talk from their heart, from their soul, so I cannot talk, I can only talk about my own experience. I'm being authentic. This is my purpose of living. I don't want to be in the box. I've never been in the box. Even in my country, I'm out of the box. Even in my family, I'm out of the box. I did not have the classical path. I did not get married. I did not complete my studies, masters and stuff. Like my mom, she has PhD. My dad has a PhD. I'm an artist. I'm, you know, so for me, I've always been authentic, but I paid the high price also, because don't forget that the world we live in, people take advantage of when they see you are good, you are, you know, like now I'm taking my power back, because I'm doing so much the classes of self-development of, you know, sometimes you cannot do all the work on your own. You need people, mentors, people who are higher than you, who you can heal things on your own, but sometimes people can heal you faster. So, you know, it's important to take care of oneself. And once we find our own harmony, then we can go out to the world and give and communicate to the world. But depending on our mission, as I said, some people are working for the dark entities, and some people are working for the good, for you know, for humanity. So it depends if they're serving their ego or serving their or serving their self and humanity. I don't know if it answers your questions.
Yes, indeed.
Well, that answered
Yes,
it.
indeed. I'm gonna pose the same question to Jackie. How important the self-communication? How important self-communication is for us to communicate with the world?
Oh, it's so important, isn't it? Because if we're not feeling good about ourselves, we can only project that and see that in others as well. So if we're not going to connect with ourselves and take that time for ourselves, I don't think you're never really, and I've struggled with this too, so I'm talking from personal experience, is that and I think it's the programming from when we are little, it's what our parents say to us, it's media, it's television, it's all those things that we're continually through the bloody education system as well. Like everything is there to make us feel separate, you know, in duality. And you know, the whole point is to come back to yourself and project that, project the love and the kindness, the compassion, the empathy for others. And you know, as they say, what you're going to see and complain about in other people, it's you need to look at yourself. And without that contemplation and that reflection within yourself, you're really not moving ahead really in this lifetime. So so it's everything. To connect with yourself is everything, I have found, you know, for me. Brings a lot of peace. And like Mona was saying, the harmony, you need to be in harmony with things, you know, with everything around you. Nature, so important to get in connection with nature. And she will teach you everything, really.
Yes, indeed. Connecting harmony and connecting with yourself, connecting with the nature helps you to communicate better with the world. Now we have talked about communication with yourself, communicating with other people. There's another thing. There's a very interesting thing about uh, communication, and it plays a significant role. And now is I'm gonna go to Gary. The question is the role of listening in the communication, because listening can't be complete without
Everything.
this
You're
communication
gonna ask
can't
you're gonna
be
ask
without
me
listening.
this one? My God.
Yes, indeed.
what a bunch of mind fuck, excuse the expression, mind fuckery.
It's
Okay.
okay. It's
Because
okay. You're in so tribe. You can.
oh God. Okay. First off, what are we born with? We are born with the wanting to understand and the need to be understood. This is how the evolution of a human life begins. We want to know how to crawl, we crawl, we fall, we crawl, we crawl, we fall, we keep going. But the key to this is that it takes somebody to listen. You know, 2 ears, I want to understand. I have a question. Did you hear what I asked? No, you didn't hear what I asked. You only heard what you want to hear. If I look at my relationships, you know, in personal relationships, my last personal relationship, here's a double standard. It was one, I'm speaking in a language it's not mine, so I'm trying to communicate emotionally in a native language that's not my own language. So right there, I've got a hindrance. So trying to get a clear communication coming forward where I'm being heard was always a battle because I was being heard, but I wasn't being understood. So in listening, it is the ability to say, you know what? I'm going to curate space for the person who needs to speak. That means I'm not holding space, I'm curating space. I'm allowing the person to express, to speak freely, share your emotion, don't share your drama. Don't share your dramatic story, your hoopla. Don't go into an explosive, you know, that, you know, we've all been there. Okay, it gets push, pull, the ping pong match. Take the time to listen. Okay, that whether it's a personal relationship, whether it's a relationship with self. If I want to understand myself more, I need to listen to myself. I need to listen to my heart. I need to listen to my spirit. I need to listen to my higher power. I need to listen to life around me. If not, I'm not going to understand fully who I am. In order to understand, I need to listen, open my eyes. I listen with opening my eyes. Because if my eyes are wide open, I'm alert, I'm more aware, I'm more in tune and attuned to everything in frequency around me. So it's extremely important to not only listen to be understood, but also to listen to self. Listen to my desires, my truth, my needs, and to be able to speak that freely, that is not a demand, that is only by expression of how I am, how I, with I, see who I am.
Gary, you said a very interesting thing that we don't listen. We listen what we want to listen.
Yeah.
We only listen in bits and pieces.
Yeah.
What is relevant to us. We listen only what is relevant to us and leave the other part. Now I'm gonna move to Mona. The question.
One word. In today's world, it's a 3-second attentive span because of technology. Us that have, you know, my age and you know, within this generation, we grew up with sitting at a table with family, with friends, and having communication. Today, we sit at a table. Everybody's got a smartphone device. Everybody's got a connected device, but they're not connected to life. They're not connected to listening. They're connecting to see how many friends they have on Facebook. Okay, or how many friends I have on Instagram, or how many people have messaged me rather than listening. So there's 3 seconds for you to gather attention. That's almost impossible in today's world. Okay.
Yes. Now I'm gonna move to Mona. Mona, the role of listening in our communication and listening to yourself, how important it is.
It's essential. It's essential for me to listen to myself because I want to live in total harmony with my values and with my beliefs. So otherwise, the world doesn't have any sense for me. It wouldn't, you know. Of course, it's a must to listen to myself. You know, especially with what's going on now more than ever, because we don't trust the system. I don't trust, like, I don't know, Jackie, how you had the courage to go to the hospital. For me, I'm avoiding to go to the hospital, to be honest. You know, I don't trust neither doctor. Yeah, I had anyway. I had a friend of mine in Dubai. She had a really bad experience. Her son, he went to the dentist. He went to the dentist, her son, and after he had the surgery on his tooth, the next day he died. He died.
Going to a dentist.
And her account got blocked here in this platform because the authorities there, they didn't want her to spread the stories of what happened. So anyway, I don't want to go because we have to be careful on what we say, but we must use our discernment. Don't trust anything that has to do with the system or nothing. I'm avoiding like any whatsoever, no contract. I don't want to sign anything. So that's why now I'm working, to be honest, I'm working on building my empire and my future on things outside of the system. That's why I'm also Quantum Elite offers a great opportunity. I have other opportunities. That's what I'm working on, because the more we're going to go out of the system and go up to 5G, and more the system will crumble down. And it's crowded down there anyway. So come up, there is lots of space in 5G. 5G, this is where we can manifest our wishes. So this is the power of the mind, Ahsan, to tell you, of course, it's very important you listen. It's essential. And it's very important that you work on your mind to stay positive, because everything on the outside is going to tell you, don't listen to yourself. Everything in the system is trying to pull us out. They don't want you to find out all the gifts you have inside of you. God gave us everything. And now with the shift from darkness to light, all these gifts are being developed if you're awake. So you do need to listen and to spend time alone with yourself, because this communication, you cannot do it with someone. It's between you and your creator and your angel and your ancestors and your,
Yes,
Very
yes,
much.
indeed. Mona, you have said a very interesting thing, that listening to yourself and listening to your gut feelings. What are you feeling, and from inside? And if something tells you from inside, then don't do it. If something telling you that this is not good, then you shouldn't do it. Listening to yourself is very important. Now I'm going to move to Jackie. The question is, we are talking about listening. What are your thoughts on listening? How we can communicate better if you listen, you pay attention to the voice of other people?
Look, I just wanted to touch on, I was having a bit of a laugh, because if you don't listen to yourself, the universe will let you know, don't they? And they let you know in such a, if you keep not listening, and this has happened quite a few times in my life, you get knocked down to like, you cannot get
you give
back
your power
up.
away. You give your power away.
Yeah, you do. But you just, the universe is working, like everyone is working, in the spiritual realms to get you on your right path. If you don't listen to your gut instincts, you'll be knocked down until you slowly, make your way onto it. And you get little signs all along the way to get back onto your path. It's all about listening and recognizing the signs. Also, going back to now the listening of communication with others, it's we listen to, or we hear the parts of someone's conversation that reaffirms your own beliefs. Right, so you will pick when you're not in that proper listening mode, right, giving it your full attention. You'll already be ready with your own what you want to say, because you're not listening. You've got your own thoughts in your head, and then you listen and hear what someone is saying that reaffirms your beliefs, right? And that's just not being really close-minded, not open to any changes in your life, which can just leads to a very small mind. So we need to be really open-minded, and when we're having conversations, and like Gary was saying, like sitting around the dinner table and having those conversations where everyone interacted and it was all spontaneous and you really did listen and have good conversation, you know. And you have to, I think, too, is like come into a conversation with no, and I remember this from working with homeless youth, you come in, you leave all your stuff at the door, no memory, just get rid of all your memories and your own stuff. Like just come in with a blank slate and address that person as if it's the first conversation you've ever had, you know.
Yep.
And know that your words are so powerful to people. You know, what you can say can change someone's life, and they may not notice it at that particular time. But later they might recognize that you've said something or somebody else has said something that, you know, even if it's just simple as saying, I believe in you, you know, I wish you could see in yourself what I see in you. Just little things like that, just planting seeds. But the listening, it's so important to listen to their story. Nobody wants to hear your story unless they ask. You know?
Very true.
Yes, indeed. And okay, I hope I'm not interrupting you, Jackie.
That's okay.
Okay. Okay, I'm gonna move to Gary. Gary, you always get a difficult question.
Okay, here. Why me? Why me? Okay.
Why me? Why me?
Load it up, bring it on. Okay.
Okay. Jackie said a very interesting thing that you have to open your mind. Now, Gary, I'm asking you a question that when you are listening to other people, then you have to be open-minded and listen. Not listening and judging, they are two different things. People don't listen, they judge. So what are your thoughts on judging?
Wow. Okay, first off, I don't judge people. I have opinions. My opinion belongs to me. And if my opinion is placed well and I say it well, I can say it in a way that's polite and has, you know, good manners. But if I have an opinion of something that is going to engage in something that is negative, then I keep that opinion to myself because that's my own reflection. That's what I have to deal with. Okay. But coming back to this aspect of listening, when I listen with my heart. I'm not listening with my mind. I'm not trying to analyze you. I don't want to analyze you. I'm not your psychologist. I'm not your psychiatrist. But I am a human being that has a heart, that understands emotion, that understands vulnerability. So when I'm listening with compassionate heart. I have compassion for the story. That is the way that I listen. If I go into some where they listen with judgment to judge me, you know, it's like, you know what? Here, take my glasses, put them on. That's what you see. That belongs to you. It doesn't belong to me. So your judgment towards me in communication, it's not going to bother me. It doesn't belong to me. It belongs to the other person. Staying strong to my integrity, staying strong to my authenticity. I am who I am. Can't change me. Nobody can change me. So like I say, I listen, but I don't judge. I have compassion, I have understanding, and I have heart. And if the conversation is not something that I can engage in because of aggressivity, because of a bad story, look, Moon, you've gone down the rabbit holes. I've gone down the rabbit holes. I've gone down the rabbit holes deeper than most. And I've been on the side of those rabbit holes. So I've seen things that I can't talk about because I just can't talk about them. It would shock many people. So I have to be also careful with what I'm saying in the projection of truth, what I'm saying in the projection of growth, but also what I'm listening to in the reception of truth and then the understanding of truth. So that's my spiel on that complicated question.
So I'm gonna move to now Mona. Mona, you have a lot of experiences. You have visited the world. You have been in different countries and different cultures, and you have a lot of experiences with different people. and you have been averse this. So, how people, the bias and judgment in communication, the role of bias in communication, and how does it affect you personally?
I'm not following. I'm not in this movie. I'm out of the. I'm out of their movie since a long time. I'm making my own movie and my own reality. I am not.
Mhm,
I'm out of their movie. I don't let their movie affect me.
mhm,
That's what I do. And I try
mhm,
to surround myself with people who think the same, because we need to
mhm,
get together. Because when you find people that think like you, it gives you more power. It's very,
mhm,
it's not easy what we're going through. Some people are stuck, like, they're
Mm.
stuck in either cognitive dissonance, or they don't accept the truth. Even my family, when I went back home to Tunisia this summer, when I started
mhm,
talking about pedophilia to my parents, they were like, my mom, she told me, don't talk about this in front of my friends, okay?
mhm,
Don't talk about this subject. I said, why? She said,
mhm,
no, we don't want to hear about this. We don't want.
mhm,
I said, this is reality. So don't invite me to come and sit when you have guests. Don't invite me. What? I'm gonna go and just sit and be not myself, not be able to
mhm,
say what I want. This is one of the
mhm,
reasons why I chose to live. Maybe. But anyway, that's. So no, I'm sorry. Like I don't want. We have our own power. You have your intuition is your communication with your creator. This is the big magic. This is the big secret. This is why it's
mhm,
so important you do listen to your intuition, because your intuition, this is your creator. These are your ancestors. These are your angels talking to you.
Mm.
And
Mm.
if
mhm,
you don't listen to them, something bad will happen to you. You will make the same mistake till you learn. Till you learn.
mhm. Yes, indeed. Yes,
Yeah.
indeed.
But
And now mhm. Okay. Finish your thought.
sorry, but again, I say this is my personal experience, because I know, like, I'm very tolerant. I have people around me who don't believe in anything, who are not. So it's different for them. They don't. They buy into the lies of the system, because
Mm.
they don't have this connection with the divine. They are not connected to their heart.
Mhm,
Not everybody is connected to their heart. Not everybody is honoring their heart.
mhm,
It's a very personal experience, Ahsan. That's
Mm.
what I'm trying
mhm.
to say. Thanks.
Okay, I'm gonna move to Jackie. Listening and judgment. They are two different things. How do you differentiate? Now your dog has started barking.
She has. Sorry. Hopefully she'll
Okay, no
stop in a
problem.
minute.
It's got
No
a,
problem. No
dog's
problem.
got a voice too, So
Yeah, and I have
see,
my
there you
cat
go.
also.
There's a cat.
Yes,
See what happens. The cats and the dogs, they know each other. The energy's connecting in.
Exactly.
yes, indeed. Okay, now Jackie.
Listening and judgment.
Mhm,
Yeah, I think what Gary was talking about with judgment before, you have to come to a place, and that's the way we've been conditioned too, isn't it? To judge
mhm,
everyone, especially as
Mm.
females seeing things. It's
mhm,
like, we're our worst enemy at times, women,
mhm,
instead of building a female up to
mhm,
just embrace everything about her that's beautiful and lovely, and and within
mhm,
and without, but instead
mhm,
it's just the picky little thing, it's the negative things that you kind of, I don't know why we do that. We pick on the negative. It's the same with our memories. Like in your
mhm,
childhood, you remember, for me, the one time my father smacked me, and why do I remember that? Because it was that one time I got smacked, and I was pretty naughty to get that smack, because
mhm,
every other day
mhm,
he's told me all his life that he loves me. Yet
mhm,
the thing that stands out. So, we really have to somehow get off that negative pathway and the
Hmm.
judgment.
mhm,
Like, we can have opinions on things that we see that don't resonate with us, but to actually judge them and then put them in a box or a category, or it's that's the type of thing we're trying to get away from. I hate being put in, I hate labels and being put in a box, and you've got this disease and you've got that disease, and you're that type of person, you're an addict, you're not any of those things. You're you and you're unique. And I think we have to remember that when we're looking at someone and communicating with someone, they are us. They are a part of us. So to treat them meanly, to treat them with hate or disgust, wow, that's such a power that just bounces straight back to us. Do we want that in our lives? Do we want that energy in our lives? So getting back to just listening and talking with people as if they are. And I know it's difficult what Mona was saying, like you tiptoe around people that don't want to talk about those things. I can't talk to my parents. I had a little bit of a heated argument with my partner the other day, about our, I won't name who I was talking about, one of the major political figures, in saying, he's a pedophile, don't you? Or he's been charged with something and it's all suppressed. We're not allowed to talk about these things. And he laughed. And I was really offended by that, because I thought, you're not willing to even listen about these things. And this is why these things go on and on and on and get so bad. And like Gary, I've been down the rabbit hole too. And like Mona, we've all had a son too, I'm sure. And you see some things that are really question what sort of world you are living in, that people can do the most horrific things to children especially, and babies. And those photos that you see are etched in your mind, as how can you're living in a world where someone can be so horrific and so emotionless in these instances. It's terrible.
That opens up Pandora's box.
Yes, indeed. And I have found the topic for the next week, but I'm gonna Gary, it's been around about an hour 10. We have discussed very interesting things.
Yeah.
We started our journey from communication with yourself, self-communication, communicating with other people, and the role of body gesture, and how important our body language plays in the communication. And now the final thoughts to sum up our life. Your final thoughts.
My point of thoughts about tonight, or about
look, about
we have just started touching the tip of the iceberg in this communication between both genders, for one. The ability to have both a female's perspective and a male's perspective coming out and sharing in story or sharing in experience is showing that how we can unificate or make unification between genders, rather than fly off of a protest and a sign and here's the goddess movement and here's the God movement and here's this movement and here's that movement. What this is doing is that we're bringing people together through truths. We're going to talk about more deeper truths, more darker truths, because these are things that need to be said. And one of the things is that many of us are fearful to use names. If we have the truth and we know it's the truth, then we have a choice to make. I have a choice to make. And my choice is to speak my truth and the understanding of the truths that I've seen. And I've seen all of the atrocities that it makes me sick to think of them. But it needs to be spoken about. It needs to be brought into the limelight, not just about the politicians and not just about the virus and not just about the mask syndromes. It's more than that. We talk about ascending to 5D. To ascend to 5D is one stepping stone. The truth of the soul is beyond dimensions. When your soul is connected to the universal consciousness and the universal energy of love, there is no dimension. We've gone way and above. But now we have to go and do the process. We have to go through the stepping stones. We got to go through understanding where we are, what we need to see, what needs to be changed to create a new world. Not to fix a broken world, to create a new world. And this is
Yes.
the purpose of where we're going. And I'm excited every week that we come up to talking about this.
Yes, indeed, we have to create a new world with better communication and open heart listening. Listen to other people. And thank you so much, guys. Thank you, Jackie. Thank you, Mona. And
Can
thank
I
you,
say,
and Gary. Okay,
Mona?
okay,
can I say
okay,
one
final
last
thought.
thing? Can I say one
Okay,
last
yes,
thing?
yes,
I just
yes,
want
sure.
to say one last thing to a bit say the things I missed on. It's like communication. It's very important that you listen to your intuition, but that you listen to your heart as well, because don't forget that we've all been conditioned since our early childhood to be in the box, whether as a woman, whether as a man. As a woman, you know, we were taught to be submissive, not to, and as a man, you were taught to keep your emotions inside. So my message to men, to the world, is honor your emotions, because the system does not want your real happiness nor your, and you know, so you have to use your discernment and honor your heart, not only your intuition. Thank you so much.
Mhm.
Moon, I
Yes,
Love you
love
indeed.
you.
all, guys. Thank
Yes,
you for
thank
Moon,
you.
giving me this
moon, moon,
space
moon.
tonight.
Yes, thank you.
And nice to
Okay.
meet you, Jackie. I will send you an invitation for Quantum. Your
Thank
Yes,
place is
you.
indeed.
I
with
was
us.
going to ask for that. Thank you.
Yes, I will
Thank you.
send
Yes,
you. I will send you definitely. Thank you.
yes,
Thank you,
indeed.
everyone.
Thank you.
Yes, indeed. And we have discussed communication, self-communication, and listening, listening without judgment. And next week we are going to talk about freedom of speech and how freedom of speech is different from hate speech. And it's our topic for the next week. And thank you, Jackie. Thank you, Gary. Thank you, Mona, and all of you
Thank
guys.
you.
And thank you guys. Your
Big
comments,
one.
your
See?
comments are lovely. And we all, Gary, we all going to Gary, Jackie, Mona. We all going to reply to your comments right now after finishing the live. Thank you so much,
Yes.
guys, for listening. If you have any questions,
Sorry.
just leave it in the comment box. I'll answer it to you. Mona answer it to you. Gary answer or Jackie would answer it to you as soon as they can. And thank you
Yes.
so much. And I'll see you next week.
Sorry for the audience. I couldn't read the commands to answer the commands that were entering. Apologies for the audience because we couldn't read them. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye.
Namaste.